Hello again. Now, I must sound like I'm always complaining. I guess I am a complainer, aren't I? Well, I think the title of this video... What just happened there? The title of this video is going to hopefully indicate otherwise. That's that one. That's the big one. One at a time. What I need to do, what I needed to do, I didn't really need to, did I? Horizontal. What I wanted to do, I don't want to get lost here, start at the bottom, was fix that problem with the end of file character. You know, is there a hotkey for it? No. You know, if I just flip that one twice? Yeah, fucking wait a minute. I thought I did this all in one step. Maybe I'm not seeing the one that I've done. That thing with the end of file character and the reading stops. Layer. Okay, it's all of them, I think. If I hide this, can't see that yet. Okay, that one's correct. Can't tell. What's the bigger one? There's one underneath there. Is there more? What's this one? That's the one I got selected. No. No. Which one is it? I just turned it. It's good. Well, maybe these two are together. How do I hide that one? Wait, I'm gonna hide them all. It's gotta disappear. There it is. Okay. That one's okay. I know that. Oops. Good. Put one on visible again. And export. Well, I was trying to fix that bug with where you're trying to open a text file, and you have to use the text mode, or else you won't get all that stuff for free. Well, I don't think getting stuff for free I don't like that anymore. Getting stuff for free seems to me the most costly business going. Change icon. No, it should be right beside it. Corral something. See, I want the camera looking this way. There we go. See, now that's not too bad. I just want to make this scene a little more pleasing. Yeah, so, and the reason it all came up was let's try and I have that file, right? It works with Notepad, it doesn't work with my fancy Notepad cube. I don't like that either. I think I had it in, no, it's no longer temp. Probably here. Okay, yeah, here. See, now what was happening was The ones with me, Alan, are the ones I opened up and saved as Unicode. This, I managed to get it to load. This is including the messed up character. It's in there, but actually this one is incorrect. There's stuff missing. Turns out. Oh yeah, this is UTF-8. UTF-8. I would open in one format and try and save in another. And where is my Unicode version? I may have deleted it. I saved it as Unicode, and it looked almost right, but the size was different slightly from Notepad. Notepad's getting it all right and perfect, and can go from Unicode to UTF-8 and back to Unicode, and no problems, right? It doesn't have a problem. It works perfectly. That's what it's supposed to look like. That's I guess that must be the 1A that kills it. And what I did, I thought, okay, all I gotta do, another one of those, okay, it's easy. All you gotta do is do this. So all I gotta do is, well, A, go online first. I don't know what my history is full of searches, I'm thinking, come on, there's got to be a flag or something you set, like please ignore the end of file character. That's for compatibility with CPM or something. And Facebook. Let's do the next page. No, what's that? Oh no, here. 1A, C++ reference. Avoiding truncation. But all these people were talking about, all I could find, control that in text files. All the people kept saying is, well, just because Notepad can do it doesn't mean that that's the way it works. It doesn't work that way. That says end of file, and that's the way the operating system works. And just forget it. Don't even try. And pretty much that was what everyone was saying, and everybody was just giving up. Well, okay, too bad, because I want to open the thing in text mode, them as well, so that I don't have to worry about switching from Unicode or UTF-8 and all this, big endian, little endian, this and that. But if there's an easy answer, it's not out there. So, and I could have done it in less time than I took with the searching. So what I did was I said, okay, forget it, right? Because I also, here I've got one of these files. I have all this previous code commented away. What I was doing was I was trying to figure out, I was watching this thing, and I think I know one way you could do it, but it's still not perfect. Now what happens is, I was trying to find out if I could just skip over it, right, and then continue on reading, and you can. But what happens is that you read a line, and you get to here, and you find out where, I can find out where the file position is, right? The file position is at, the current position in the file is at something like 4098, like a 4K buffer, right? So it's read, this thing is read in 4K, but my string is only 25 characters, I guess, long, right? When it dies on the 26. So all I had to do then was, if I could just seek to the right place in the file, and then let it go back. It seemed to be working, right? And then I didn't. Well, and now of course the problem of saving this was still in the background. How am I going to save? And I was basing that on the length of strings that I've already read. And I'm thinking, okay, if I've read this many characters, then there must be, if it terminated for no reason, I noticed, I calculated the size first, and stopped reading. It must have been because of one of these things. One thing I tried to do was go back and just read that character in again, but it puts a 0 there. In its internal buffer, null terminates. So I can't really tell with 100% certainty that it really was. I know it was a 1A, but maybe there's another reason it could happen. And then I'm thinking about, well, now there's UTF-8, right? So the length of my string and the offset where if this thing was when it terminated could be anything, within some range. And I was trying all kinds of stuff, and trying to figure out like fgets and seeking back and forth. And of course, my thing wouldn't work. I could read in. Here is Unicode running Notepad. See, now this is wrong too. This here is supposed to have all this stuff is missing, see, from it. Because I opened it, at one time I opened it in UTF-8 format, and I used the same trick, and this is very close to the right answer. You can see the two things. The correct answer, and it's the right number of lines and everything. The correct answer, of course, whether it's UTF-8 or not, is given by Notepad, and it's supposed to be like this, and like that. Okay. So I said, I know everything that is needed that is required in order to do this stupid little task, and I don't need, all these global variables and this mode and that mode, like open modes and closed modes, and it's simple. You open it up in binary and you parse it like anything else in the world. If you want to get it done right, you got to do it yourself. Of course, I want to make it general, so up in common here, in strings seemed like a convenient place because that was, this is where I have my UTF-8 encoder and decoder already, so that's ready to go. And so I just invented this function, read text file, okay? Takes a path, reference to a pointer to file, and a buffer where the text of the file will go into. Pretty simple interface, huh? You don't even need to specify a mode. Nothing. It's going to work it all out, although there are a few cases I haven't handled just yet. But they will be. It's easy. First, check to see if the file exists. Get the file size. This is the actual number of bytes in the file. Open in binary mode. Okay, that is the key to this thing. So we're no longer relying on the magic translation and ability of the runtime library to auto-magically do everything for us without any input from us. Okay, now there are a few cases to just take care of in case they come along. If it's a single byte file, it can't be Unicode or anything, right? So in that case, I just build a string out of a single character. Whether this is, well, it has to be ANSI, right? It's only got one character. Now I can just cast that character as a tcar, which does nothing for a non-Unicode build, and then Unicode build that just puts it in the right byte order. Now, if that's not the case, now let me see now. Alright. Now that would have returned. So this would be false, and therefore would still be sitting at the beginning of the file. Now it might be that the file is only 2 bytes long, right? And if it's 2 bytes, it's possible it might be a Unicode file. That is, it might just be a byte order marker, and that's it, for instance. That, I'm sure that you've probably got many files that are exactly like that somewhere in your system, just waiting to be filled in with text. Well, I know I can read at least 2 characters because that failed, so I read in 2 characters into this buffer and cast the first 2 buffers as a word, characters as a word, right? So if I take the 2 characters I read in, cast that as a word value, if I get one of these 2, then it is a byte order marker. Alright. Now the question is, and I've done all this before, that's why I should have done this from the beginning, because I've gone through this so many times. Remember, little N first and big N first. This here means little n first. Well, sorry. This is the thing that says Unicode, right? FEFF. This is a backwards Unicode byte order marker, but it doesn't say anything absolute. First, we want to find out the endianness of our machine, and that's quite simple. You just take 2 bytes, put them in an array like this, cast that to a word, and if that is equal to 1, then your thing is little endian, because the 1 shifted over, so the little n went up, and so you get 1. Otherwise, it's big endian. Nothing to that. So if my machine is little endian, and I've read in a proper byte order marker, right? Then that means that the file that I'm reading is in the same byte order as me, and so the encoding is Unicode. Otherwise, encoding is the opposite of what mine is, which is big endian. And otherwise, if my machine was big endian, then it's the other way around. Now, that could be the case that happened. But if that's not true, there's always the possibility that it might be UTF-8. In that case, we need to read in 1 further byte, and so I've at position 3 in this header read in 1 more byte, and I'm comparing that against the signature preamble for UTF-8, and if that comparison comes out to 0, then the encoding is UTF-8. Now we've deciphered the encoding of the file. That's how long it takes. The only other possibility is it's Unicode, but with no byte ordering, or it's UTF-8 and no preamble. But, people that make files like that deserve everything bad that's going to happen to them anyway. But I can probably handle Unicode. It's easy to figure out. You'll see lots of zeros and take a good guess. Okay, if it's ANSI, I just want to do a straight up copy of the file contents as characters, right? Okay, straight up copy. Well, I realized that this straight up copy was sort of more general than that, so I generalized back to this. Taking a type name, car in this case. So it takes a TS string, buffer, file size, the size of the number of bytes in the file, presumably. And this toggle thing would be important in the case where in Unicode and the byte order is reversed. Alright, first off, for an assertion, if the size of the type is 2, then the file size or the bytes given should be also even. This is just checking that it's even. Why divide by 2 when you can just do that? Now, T in this case is not this T or the other, T stir T. It's this T. So the number of these T characters remaining is the variable. The total number of T characters in this file is the size of the file divided by the size of one of these. In this case, the character version is 1, so it's the total number of characters is the size of the file. And now I'm declaring that number remaining to be the total number of the file minus how many we've read. And declaring a buffer of these T's. With this size, 1 extra for a terminating no, in case we need it. And actually, I should probably put that line here to make sure to refresh this with zeros, because this thing may not null terminate properly, the last line. Let me just change that now. It doesn't hurt. That's a mem set to make sure that this thing is 0 on every time through the loop, full of zeros. Okay, now the number of cars to read would be the minimum value of, now I said unsigned here, just so there's no warnings. Nothing here is going to be negative, like an integer wise. Number of elements in the buffer minus this 1, because I want to be able to null terminate after the read. Cars remaining. So whatever the smaller of the two, read that many characters into the buffer, terminate it with a 0. This doesn't care if it's wide characters or regular characters. 0 will be of the size of one object in here. Now, of course, I have a function here instead of what I used to have, which was a thing for flipping the byte order. But that gives me a warning because I might call this with car here. Car is a character, and there's nothing to flip in that case. So I turned that into a function. I just made a function with that name. 2 of them. 1 a character version, which asserts, and a wide car version, which does something. So no more warning. Now, so all this thing does is, if there's a for loop here, looping up to the number of characters read, toggling the endianness if required. Now I have a thing in TS string. There is a constructor. Either way you do it, okay? If you're in Unicode, I can build a TS string from a pointer to car, ANSI string, only using, it has to be explicit. And if I'm in ANSI, I can take a wide character string and turn it into a TS string by explicit cast. So therefore, I can take that buffer, no matter what format it's in, cast it as a TS string, and then add it to the output. So you see now this is converted. This has done essentially cast an entire string, all of its characters to wide characters, and then add it to the output. And then what is this? The number read, add what I just read to the total amount I have read so far. And if that amount equals the total number in the file, then I'm done. Otherwise, I recalculate how many are remaining and continue on, and eventually that quits. Easy enough. So that's the ANSI case. Now we can have big endian or Unicode are the two Unicode possibilities. In that case, first we want to step over we want to seek from 0 over the byte order marker and try to decide which form of the straight up copy we want to use. Do we need a toggling copy, or can we just copy straight out? Well, if my machine is little endian and the encoding asked for is just Unicode, then there's no difference in endianness. The data is in the same endian format as my machine, so I can just copy straight. If my machine is big endian and the encoding is big endian, again, the straight up copy is fine. Otherwise, I'm in opposite endianness as the file, so I gotta toggle. All toggle copy does is called general copy with true to toggle. So that handles Unicode now. Unicode and ANSI are done. Here's UTF-8. This is just reading, I haven't done writing. First I use my auto buff thing, make a buffer that's the size of the entire file, and seek over the 3 byte preamble, and just read the entire file in one go. This makes it much easier to do the next part, where I have a pointer, right? And it's just one of these pointer walking things. This UTF code I may have described at some point in the past works as shown here. This is the TS string buffer, this is only going to be good and really it won't get here in the non-Unicode case. It'll assert and return at this point. So this is only for the Unicode case. So these have to be wide cards, and these are just regular bytes. You pass in a pointer to your data, and this here is like how many more bytes are remaining in the data, and this thing returns to you one single wide character, and it alters the value of PB data. So eventually this keeps incrementing, and when it hits the last one, if the file is correctly formatted, it should land exactly be pointing 1 byte beyond the string. That is, its position is last, so it's defined here as the entire file size, or the beginning plus size. Okay, and the encoding is UTF-8, so that's it. And I tried it. Unfortunately, I haven't done save, but that shouldn't be long. Saving's just as easy. Go through the same cases, and I have an encode for UTF-8. Let me pause there. Okay, it's linking now. All right. Well, I can select. This is the original. Okay. Now that was just unit. This one is not UTF-8. It's, well, I can tell by the save as dialog to tell me Unicode, right? If I open something that's in UTF-8 format, like the great one that Notepad made, and I can say that. Oh no, that one's in. Oh yeah, that one went from UTF-8 to Unicode and back. This is UTF-8. See? So, like, I know it's just a silly little bug thing, right? And it doesn't really matter that much. But I'm much happier with the fact that now, I can stop thinking about it, and I don't have to rely. This is ANSI, see? That works just as well. Does everything that their thing does for reading. Auto detection of the type, getting the endianness and everything correct. And it's not that much code, really. There's hardly any code here because I've grouped all of the regular copies into this one thing, and I already had this thing worked out a long time ago, so might as well use it. That's it, I guess. I just wanted to point that out, that the answer for a question like that is, and it's probably a similar answer I should have done a similar thing to do with that dialogue. If I don't like that dialogue, forget searching and trying to find the right magic thing to say. Just do your own one. It's probably going to end up better anyway. All of the articles I ended up seeing in the end, they're to do with the dialogue and the Explorer style dialogue not showing up. All those articles and the questions people were asking were questions like, which class am I supposed to derive from? And which button am I supposed to push in the wizard? Right? That hasn't even. That was never even an issue, even close to an issue in this case. Derived from class. But here I've just declared a struct privately, right? And that handles it. There's no window or anything associated with this struct, right? It's got nothing to do with dialogues in Windows. All it asks for is a hook procedure, right? And it's just a callback. So a thing that runs its own dialogue, and it calls a callback. You don't need to derive from, some special window class to get that functionality. Here's the declaration. It's in a private file. It's in this file, tsreg. Nobody else can see it, nor should they see it. Right? And in my handler somewhere, I make one of those non-existent things that nobody can ever see, and eventually pass it on to its hook procedure onto the dialogue. Anyway, just an update. So the next thing is I'll finish that. You can see the feedback is coming now with opening and saving, indicating the type. I know now with 100% certainty that I will be able to save the file correctly, right? Because I'm not relying on any magic tricks. In full control of which bytes go in and which bytes come out. So therefore, it will work properly. That's a fact. It's true. I could make a mistake, but that's the only way that it's not going to work correctly, right? It's if I make a mistake. In the case where you're not in control of the code and they don't tell you, or it's undocumented and you don't know what, which wizard you're supposed to refer to and which class you're supposed to derive from, anything can happen. Anything, you can never feel any confidence in what's going to, in your code's behavior, right? Because you're not in control of it. Anyway, I ramble on. Hope you enjoyed the picture. I had nothing to prepare for that, but I'm going to go and eat, and I want to record when I get more things done. Record not a final, but something that looks like a working product. It might take me tonight and tomorrow. Anyway, I'm thinking about what to do. See you.